Hey everyone. So you may have noticed that I changed my name. Don't know if I'm gonna keep this one, but I kind of like it. I mean, it was the best I can come up with. I just didn't really want to keep my old name anymore, so I just thought of what I do on this channel, and Market Cipher came to mind, and that's pretty much a lot of my trading is looking at these Market Cipher waves. So I thought, hey, why not? It doesn't matter too much to me. So, I don't really care what my name is, honestly, but I just thought it's, easier to say. Try and simplify it, I guess, a little bit. But, yeah, anyways, I haven't made a video in a while. I think it's been over a week now, and I haven't really been trading much. Well, I have been looking to get back into trading, honestly, the past few days, but there just hasn't been much. I haven't taken any trades, even though I've been looking for them. I've had a lot of levels marked out on my chart that we just haven't gotten to. Let's see if I can find some of my boxes. So yeah, I had some levels marked out that I was looking to trade, and we've basically just been, consolidating in this little sort of triangle type thing. Um, Price action not really doing much of anything after the really volatile, week or whatever that we had before this. Price action is more boring this week. And basically, in this video, I just want to go over establishing ranges and trading ranges and how I find ranges, both local and larger ranges, because we've been doing a lot of that. Basically, since we put in these lows, we've been forming ranges smaller and smaller each time. And I'm sort of going to go over how I establish these ranges, how I find significant levels to trade from inside these ranges, and some of the trading strategies that I use when we start forming ranges. And so basically, the first thing is, how are you going to find a range? And one of the ways I like to do it is after we get a volatile move, sort of like this. Basically, what I'm looking to do is mark out the lows wherever that is. In that case, I guess it would be this wick. But as you can see, we took that wick out, so I just moved this down to whatever the low is, pretty much wherever we get the bounce from, and just have that marked out. And then simply you want to mark out the highs. So, I guess I probably would have marked out this high right here if I was doing TA on it while it was happening. But then we quickly took out that high, formed another high up here. So I'd move the high of the range to right up here. But pretty much this is going to be my range, the price action between these highs and these lows. And what I can do now is take a volume profile of this range and well, let's say we were doing TA while this was going on, so I would take a volume profile of just this section because, we just put in these highs up here. And, what you can do here is just sort of mark out the significant levels inside this range. I'd mark out the value area high, the point of control, the value area low. And these volume levels can be significant inside these ranges, especially if you have like a golden pocket, lining up with one of these levels, or like a 786. If you can find some confluence around these levels, then, I will mark them out. And, they can be some of these significant levels that you can look to scalp from inside these ranges. But a lot of times, what ends up happening in these ranges is the highs or the lows end up being the most significant levels, because at these, highs and lows, at these peaks, there's going to be, well, there's typically going to be liquidity that people, market makers, are looking to grab. And so what you'll find is a lot of times we will take out those highs or lows, and sometimes they can be, very juicy levels to get a reversal off of. So basically, once I establish these ranges, I'll just be marking out the key levels that I'm interested in. And usually it's going to be the value area highs or lows, especially if they have confluence with a golden pocket. So, I can mark those out, mark out the 786 value area low down here. And you can see even with these levels that we got from basically here, we would have had these levels, very soon after we put in this high, because we just took volume range of this little section of price action. Um, Already the value area low was respected. This area would have been a great place to take some longs. And very soon after, we got this value area high and golden pocket. Once we put in these lows, we had a golden pocket right up here. And this proved to be another, significant level where you could have taken some shorts. And we still haven't taken out the highs or the lows of the range, which is, pretty much why I'm not in any trades right now. I was waiting for us to take out the highs or the lows. But, just by establishing the highs and the lows, taking a volume of that range, and using fib retracements, we could have found some pretty juicy scalps inside of here. And, this is a relatively small range, but, these are still like 1% moves. 1.5% moves. So for scalps, those are pretty decent moves. And that's pretty much how I like to establish a range. I can zoom out and show you basically how we did that on a larger time frame. Same deal. We had a very volatile move. We put in a low. I marked out that low. Then we got a bounce up. I marked out that high. And now depending on where you're going to take the volume from, you can take volume inside of this range, and you can get significant levels this way. Also using golden pockets, you can look for confluence at some of these volume levels, and this larger range hasn't really had much action. We could have gotten some longs from right down here, but really, since we put in these lows, price has just been coiling up here. But let me see if I can find an example where we formed a range and then did take out the highs or the lows, because there are some, specific confirmations I look for when I'm trading those sort of setups. Okay, well, actually, right here is a good example. When we put in these lows, we actually had a CDW of the lows. Hang on, let me go down to a small time frame for this. Okay, so this one might have been a little tougher to enter because we didn't have the exact confirmations that I like to look for, but we did still definitely have confirmations here. It's just, typically with CDWs, I like to see the bullish divergences or bearish on the 1 minute time frame as we take out the wick, but in this case we didn't get that. We got bullish divs on the 3 minute though, and some of the higher time frames as well, it looks like. Yeah, the 5 minute. But yeah, this is an example of us getting a volatile move to the downside, putting in a significant low, getting a bounce, putting in a significant high, and then price basically CDW'd or swing failure patterned the low with bullish divergences with confirmations, even though it wasn't exactly what I wanted to see. This still could have been a solid entry, and that would have been a great move, I believe. Yeah, would have been about a 2.2% move or whatever. So yeah, that's kind of how I like to establish ranges after, a sort of volatile move. We've been doing this sort of pattern a lot where we just sort of form a range and then trade sideways inside of it. We're doing that sort of like a Russian doll. Higher time frames, then medium time frames, then lower time frames are doing this. As for, the levels I'm watching, first off, we do have this local high that, we could still take out. I was waiting for the highs or the lows to be taken out before I took a trade. And then we also have these highs that we put in on Monday. We have another sort of smaller range right here, which, you can take the volume of this too and maybe trade some of the volume and fib levels inside of here. We do have some nice confluence with the golden pocket value area high there, so maybe this is an area to be watching. And the reason I sort of mark out these other areas as well, the value area highs and the golden pockets, is because, they can give us very nice moves if we see confirmations at those levels. But, if we don't see confirmations at those levels, Just because there's some confluence there, I'm not going to try and FOMO into a trade there. I'm going to wait until I see my confirmations at one of these key levels that I'm marking out. I was holding out for, some CDWs of these highs, but if we do end up seeing some nice confirmations at some of these intermediary levels, maybe even down at the value area low down there. Let's see. Do we have a golden pocket or something right down there? We probably do. Yeah. And we have found, support of that golden pocket already. But when I was looking at price action earlier, I didn't see anything that was, screaming long. I wasn't seeing my confirmations down here, but still, this was a significant level. This was respected, and we have gotten a little bounce from here now, about 1.33%. So, yep, pretty much that's one of the ways that I like to establish ranges and mark out key zones inside of these ranges. Figured it was a good time to talk about it, considering how often Bitcoin is sort of forming these ranges right now. Which is sort of making me think that at some point we are going to get a breakout of this sort of consolidation that we're seeing right here. And in terms of more macro for Bitcoin, if that breakout happens to be to the upside, we're gonna have some very heavy resistance at this previous support of the previous range, and if we're unable to get back inside of this range, if we end up getting rejected here, then we are probably going to see lower prices, in my opinion. I've been talking about the macro pattern that Bitcoin has been repeating, which is basically range sideways and then break down since the November highs. That has basically been the pattern: range sideways, break down, range sideways, break down, range sideways, break down. And now it seems like we've just done it again, broken down out of a sideways range. So unless we're able to get back inside of that range, I am expecting lower prices because, that range was really our last support. But anyways, I think that's all I wanted to go over. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. Really appreciate the support, and I'll see you all in my next video. Peace.